Are all the judges ready? And the timer? Let's begin. The year is 1792. The French Revolution is at its full height. All vestige of previous rank has been stripped away, and people now address each other as citizen. Anyone who is suspected of being an aristocrat is imprisoned and beheaded. Charles Darnay, called Evrémonde, has been imprisoned while attempting to travel to Paris. In his classic tale, Charles Dickens brings all of the emotional turmoil of that time through his character, Charles Darnay, to a touching tale of substitution, propitiation, and self-sacrifice. A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. Darnay was awakened by a local functionary and 3 armed patriots who sat down on the bed. Citizen, I am going to send you on to Paris under an escort. Citizen, I desire nothing more than to get to Paris, though I could dispense with the escort. Silence! Peace, aristocrat! It is as the good patriot says, you are an aristocrat and must have an escort and must pay for it. I have no choice. Choice? Listen to him, as if it was not a feather to be protected. It is always as the good patriot says. Rise and dress yourself, immigrant. Darnay complied and was taken back to the guardhouse. Here he paid a heavy price for his escort, and hence he started with it on the wet roads at 3 o'clock in the morning. Daylight at last found them before the wall of Paris. The barrier was closed and strongly guarded when they came up to it. Where are the papers of this prisoner? The patriot had them in his cap and produced them. Citizen Defarge, is this the immigrant Evrémonde? This is the man. Your age, Evrémonde? 37. Married, Evrémonde? Yes. You are consigned, Evrémonde, to the prison of La Force. The dread tribunal of 5 judges, public prosecutor, and determined jury sat every day. Their lists went forth every evening and were read out by the jailers of the various prisons to their prisoners. Charles Evrémonde, Carl Darnay. So at last began the evening paper at La Force. When her name was called, its owner stepped apart into the spot reserved for those as being thus fatally recorded. Looking at his jury and the turbulent audience, Darnay might have thought that the usual order of things was reversed, and that the felons were trying the honest men. You, Charles Evrémonde, Carl Darnay, are accused as an immigrant whose life is forfeit to the Republic under the decree which banished all immigrants on pain of death. Take off his hand, an enemy to the Republic! Every eye was then turned to the 5 judges and the public prosecutor. No favorable leaning accorded that day. A fell, murderous business there. Charles Darnay, alone in a cell, had sustained himself with no flattering delusion since he had come to it from the tribunal. In every line of the narrative, he had heard his condemnation. He fully comprehended that personal influence couldn't save him, and that units could avail him nothing, when he was virtually sentenced by the millions. When he lay down on his straw bed, he thought he was done with the world. Another pause of oblivion, and he woke, unconscious of where he was, or what had happened. Until he remembered, this is the day of my death. The hours went on as he paced to and fro. The clocks struck the numbers he would never hear again. 9! Gone forever. 10! Gone forever. 11! Gone forever. 12! Gone forever. He had been apprised that the final hour would be 3, and he knew he would be summoned sometime before. So he resolved to keep 2 before his mind as the hour. Then, sounds in the stone passage outside. A key was put in the lock and turned. The door was opened, And there before him stood face to face, the quiet smile intent upon his lips, was Sidney Carton. Of all the people upon earth, you at least expected to see me. Quick, I have no time. Take off those boots you wear, and draw on these of mine. There was a chair against the wall of the cell, and Carton, pressing forward with the speed of lightning, had got the prisoner down into it, and stood over him barefoot. Draw on these boots of mine. Put your hands to them. Put your will to them. Quick! Oh, Carton, dear Carton, it can never be done. We can never escape from here. You will only die with me. It is madness. It would be madness if I asked you to escape. But do I? When I tell you to pass out that door, tell me it is madness, and remain here. Quick, change that coat for this of mine. That cravat for this of mine. While you do so, let me take this ribbon from your hair, and shake out your hair like this of mine. Oh, Cotton, dear Cotton, it is madness. It can never be done. It has been attempted, it has always failed. I implore you not to add your death to the bitterness of mine. The prisoner sprang up with a reproachful look, but Carton's hand was close and firm in his nostrils, and his left arm caught him around the waist. For a few seconds, he struggled with the man he had come to lay down his life for. But within a few minutes, he was stretched on the ground. Then, with hands as true to the purpose as his heart was, Carton dressed himself in the clothes the prisoner had laid aside, combed back his hair, and tied it with the ribbon the prisoner had worn. Then he softly called, "Into there! Come in!" And the spy presented himself. "You see, is your hazard very great?" "Monsieur Carton, my hazard is if you are to your whole of the bargain." "Do not fear me. I will be true to the death. Now, get assistance and take me to the coach." "You? Him, man, with whom I have exchanged." "Of course." The door was closed and Carton was left alone. He sat down at the table and waited until the clock struck 2. Then, sounds that he was not afraid of, for he divined their meaning, began to be audible. Several doors were opened in succession, and finally his own. A jailer Milo looked in, saying, "Follow me, Evremond." And he followed. As he stood, a young woman arose from the seat where he had observed her sitting, and came to speak to him. "Citizen Evremond, I am the Porto seamstress who was with you at La Force." "True. I forget what you were accused of." "Plots, so suggest heaven knows that I am innocent of any. Is it likely? Who would think of plotting with a poor little creature like me? I am not afraid to die, Citizen Evremond, but I have done nothing. I am not unwilling to die. If the Republic wishes to do so much good to us poor, will profit by my death. Oh, but I do not know how that can be, Citizen Evremond. I doubt that you will release Citizen Evremond. I had hoped it was true." "It was, but I was taken again and condemned." "If I may ride with you, Citizen Evremond, I am not afraid, but I am little and weak, and it will give me courage." As the patient eyes were lifted to his face, he saw sudden doubt in them, and then astonishment. He pressed the work-worn, hunger-worn fingers and touched his lips. "Are you dying for him?" "And his wife, and his child. Hush, yes." "Oh, will you let me hold your hand, brave stranger?" "Hush, yes, my poor sister. To the last." Shh! Show!